Welcome to The Bad Broadcast. I'm your host, Maddie. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a new episode of The Bad Broadcast. I just noticed that I'm holding my microphone. I normally have my mic stand, but I was actually all set up for an interview this week. And then I got so sick. I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know if it was food poisoning or the flu, but I was so sick these last like 3 or 4 days, sicker than I've been in probably since I was like a teenager. I haven't been this sick. And it was miserable. And luckily I'm feeling like 90% today. I went and got an IV last night, which I was like a little hesitant about because I don't know. I've heard mixed reviews about IVs. I'm like, is it really like going to do anything? Is it just expensive pee? Like I didn't know. But I got some feedback from many people who swear by them. So I'm like, okay, I'll go because I knew I was so dehydrated after the 3 or 4 days that I had. I will obviously spare you the details, but I think you can put 2 and 2 together. I was so dehydrated. I hadn't been able to keep anything down. And so I went and got an IV. They like loaded it up with electrolytes and Zofran and zinc. I went to a place called Fika. Not sponsored, paid full price, but it was a really lovely experience. And I did that last night, got a really good night's sleep, and then woke up and now I'm feeling so much better. But I just not only like was I sick, but then on top of that, you have this like guilt of being sick. I don't know if anybody else deals with this. I feel like most moms probably do, but like you feel like a literal piece of shit, like the most worthless person who has ever lived when you are not able to help or do anything. And like I kept trying, like I would lay down for a few hours and then I'd be like, okay, I can get up and I can like help with bedtime or I can like get dinner. Literally the sight of food, even now still, I'm like, will I ever recover? Like, do I have this aversion forever? And then I like couldn't do it. And just thank goodness for Gray West because he really took the reins these last 4 days and did literally everything so I could rest. And it's just like on top of all of that, on top of all of that, I like started this video and I'm like, does it look like I've been crying? It maybe looks like I've been crying because I cried all morning. And even just saying the word crying is going to make me cry again because I just had 4 days of like not doing anything and just literally feeling like the most pointless person to ever live. Like I'm like, oh, everybody hates me and I've never accomplished anything and my friends hate me and you know, my husband hates me, my kid hates me. Like I'll never recover from this physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, anything. And then I, obviously got up this morning, got myself together, and now here I am and I'm working and I've had to catch up on a few things. And then that mom guilt just sneaks right in. And I'm just like, I'm so anti mom guilt. Like I don't feel guilt when I like get a sitter, get a nanny, when I leave the house, when I go on a trip. Like I don't feel that. But every now and again, I have like a bout of it that I can't deal with. Like I seriously, sorry, I'm going to cry. I should probably cut this out, but it's really hard. It's really hard to be a mom and to work and to figure out what you're going to do and to figure out your career. And I just like I feel like half good at everything. This is so dumb. This is so dumb to cry about. And I'm sorry. Maybe I'll leave it in. Maybe it can help in some weird way. But I just feel like I'm doing a half good job at everything. Like I feel like I'm doing a half good job at my job. I feel like I'm doing a half good job at being a mom, half good at being a partner. Because when you have a million things going on, then you're not fully there for any of it. Like I feel like when I'm just on as a mom, I'm like thinking about work. Oh, I should be working. If I'm working, I feel like I should be with her. If I'm doing this, I feel like I should be doing that. Like I feel like I'm being pulled everywhere and I'm not doing a good job at any of it. And I know that this is just because I had these 4 days of being sick. And so I wasn't able to do anything or like literally accomplish anything. So I know that that's why, but it's just hard. It's just hard. Oh, wow. Days are really hard. And I feel like a lot of times by like 4 o'clock, I'm like just trying to make it to bedtime. And I'm like, obsessing over the fact that like she only eats French fries. She watches too much TV. I'm not spending enough quality time with her. She's, not getting the not nutrient enrichment that like she needs. I'm not like teaching her enough. Like just feeling like I'm failing at literally everything. And I'm ovulating. I'm not even on my period or in my luteal phase. This is supposed to happen next week. Oh man. It's just hard. And I know that probably I would argue that the majority of people listening are moms and working moms. And so I just see you. I see you. I feel you. It's very complex. And it's like the ultimate practice in holding space for two things, like loving my job and feeling so proud of myself professionally, and also loving being a mom and spending my time with her. But like, it's hard. Oh, what? I have this weird hair. Hold on. It's just hard to feel both of those things, because it's like the two things that I'm proudest of in my life are my child and my career. And like, I don't know how those things can simultaneously exist and how I can do a really good job at both of them. That doesn't make sense to me. How do people do a really good job? And it's one of those things like we talked about last week. Like I feel like everybody else is having a way easier time with it, and everybody else is way better at it and embracing it more and holding space for it more. And they're probably not. I mean, I think most of us probably struggle with it a lot. Sorry, hold on. I have this paper towel right here. Just got to do a little dab will do ya. But that's not what today's topic is about. It's just, it's been my overwhelming feeling these last few days. And I felt bad that I had to cancel on somebody else. I was going to do this interview. I rescheduled it for next week. I feel bad canceling on them. They're also a working mom. They probably got childcare. They figured it out. It's like all these thoughts are running through my mind a million times a day. And I'm just trying to figure it all out. So, if I ever gave the impression that I had it figured out, that's a lie. But let's get into today's episode. I actually have a whole list of things that we need to talk about. Top of the list, I mean, we got to talk about TS12. We got to talk about the New Heights episode. So I am personally so excited for this album. It's kind of, I got to keep this tissue on hand. It's kind of like my perfect album. It's short. She claims there's nothing else coming. And I feel like when she doubles down on that, like she did in the New Heights episode, like when she says there's 12 songs, there's nothing more coming, I feel like she usually means that. Like on the Eras tour, when she would say there's nothing else coming, there's nobody is here. Like I can't even remember what song it was, like one of the surprise songs it was, but she was saying like nobody else is here. This is not a duet. And that was correct. Like she's not going to be that direct about it and then have something else pop out. I don't know. Again, willing to live in my shame if I'm wrong, but I like it because it's short. Everybody knows that my main beef with TTPD was like, why is it this long? It's too long. It needs to be edited. We could probably lose like, I would argue like 5 or 6 songs off of TTPD. So the 12 song, gorgeous. 1989 with folklore vibes. Yeah, that was made for one Maddie Murphy West. I've always been a 1980. That's always been my favorite. And sorry, this is so annoying that I have to keep wiping my nose. It's just, when like you cry and then your snot turns to liquid and then it just starts dripping out. Don't need to explain that. I'm so sorry. But I've always been a 1989 lover, no pun intended, but it's always been my number one. Folklore and Evermore have always been number 2. I feel like they go hand in hand. I know that people will split them up. To me, they're like, that's basically Tortured Poets Department is Folklore and Evermore. So I always put them at number 2. I can't even remember what I've done in the past. I feel like I've probably had Lover on there. Midnights. Well, I probably would go Midnights at number 3. Lover at number 4, and then Red at number 5. People hate that I don't have Reputation in my top 5, but it's just, that's not where my heart lies. So that's usually my top 5, but I'm really excited for, like, sound wise, I'm really excited for the album. Also, the New Heights episode. I loved it. I thought that they were so charming. They seem being the operative word there, but they seem very normal. I mean, I know they're not normal, but they seemed very boyfriend girlfriend. Like they seem like they joke like probably many of us do. They have a dynamic like many of us do. I liked kind of like the bits of normalcy we were seeing. I also think that when we talk about Taylor Swift and like being a Swiftie, I have to get into the conversation of like not buying into everything wholesale. And this, I want to talk about this specifically when this last like countdown went off. And I put it on my story because I was so excited because I'm like, oh, we're getting the first single. It's probably going to be a music video. Maybe it's going to be Life of a Showgirl with Sabrina Carpenter. Like she's putting a countdown on her website. And I literally texted Claire that morning and I said, if it's a vinyl, I'm going to rage. What was it? A vinyl, a variation of a vinyl. And I'm just like, do we need this many different iterations of the same thing? And I feel like with everything, there's so many things that are like this these days that like people just convince themselves they have to buy into it wholesale. They don't. You don't. We don't. We shouldn't. There shouldn't be anybody on the planet, honestly, I think, that like you agree with and love 100% of everything they do or say. I think that's giving cult. If everything that comes out of somebody's mouth, you're like, yes, 100%, I believe it. Even if an hour ago you didn't agree with it, but now that it's coming out of their mouth, you do agree with it. Like, I can't get behind that, even with somebody who I love. I mean, I love Taylor Swift. I've loved her since I was 14. And I feel like I don't know of an artist that has put so many of my feelings and experiences into words. I don't have music that I really connect with as deeply. I know that's how all of us feel. But I also feel like we have to take a step back and be like, wait, my background's, hold on. Let me adjust this. Let me just give that little curtain a shake. We have to take a step back and be like, okay, it's okay if like she does things that we don't like or agree with. That doesn't mean that you have betrayed the love that you have for her or how much you love her music or how much you can support her. I just think it's weird when it's like, yeah, I do think it's weird that she hasn't spoken out on certain topics. I also understand that it's probably dangerous in a lot of ways. If the president was literally tweeting about me, there would be some safety concerns. Yeah, I get that. Okay. I also think like we don't need a million different items in a merch store. We don't need new vinyls every single week. I feel like a lot of Swifties are being like bled dry financially because it's like you feel like you have to love this person and everything that they do. So you have to buy into it and you have to buy it literally. And you just don't. Like it's okay. There's nuance in it. You can love an artist and also point out like, yeah, maybe this isn't like completely what I agree with. Like I kind of feel like in some ways, I was thinking about this with like Instagram. Like we all use Instagram. We all love it. I don't think any of us like think Mark Zuckerberg is like cool or like love him. We don't have to buy into every single thing 100%. Buy it wholesale. I know I keep using that term. It's the best way to put it. Okay. Like it's okay to like parts of things. And maybe a lot of people will disagree with me, but I mean, then we get into like the conversation around cancel culture and how people can't do one thing wrong or they're crucified by the public. They're crucified by the internet. Like if they say one thing wrong, if they do one thing wrong, like you shouldn't agree with everybody or you shouldn't, well, that too, you shouldn't agree with everybody and you shouldn't agree with everyone. Like there should be differences in opinion and we can say, hey, this is not like the coolest thing in the world that you continually put out new merch and new vinyls and they're so expensive and it's pointless and it doesn't have anything to do with the art and she probably doesn't even really care about it and it feels like a cash grab. So I think that's okay. That doesn't take away that I adore her. I think she's a great artist. I love her music. I'm so excited. Doesn't make me less of a Swiftie. I think that we can all be discerning in those things. But I liked the New Heights episode. Just for part of the things that I love, I did like the New Heights episode. I think that the Kelsey brothers are a great addition into, the pop culture lexicon. I think that they're really, I feel like they're kind of paving the way for like a new type of male celebrity that feels like it didn't exist a couple years ago. Like people, like these athletes who are, outspoken and they're kind of in the limelight, but they're also very normal, but they're not like I don't know how to put this. let me figure out how to put this. I feel like a lot of times we get guys like Travis and Jason Kelsey, and they're kind of like barstool guys. Like they're very, very broy. They're, low key sexist and racist. Like that's what's happening. But I feel like with them, they have kind of their feet firmly planted in like normal guy territory. So I like them. I found myself nodding and kicking my feet like a little girl when I was watching it. So I'm excited for TS12. Please don't take my criticism of it as a way to say that I'm not thrilled to have probably more songs. I feel very like understood by a lot of like Taylor Swift songs. Dumbest sentence ever. Like obviously everybody does. But with the like progression of her relationships, I feel like, she was with a guy for a long time, very brooding, very artsy, very complicated, probably drained the life out of her. And then, very quickly moved on to an outgoing, bubbly, kind of more classic boy type. I feel like that's what happened to my life. And so I'm here for it. I love it. And I'm excited. What else is going on? It's back to school time. You guys are doing back to school with your kids. And I love back to school. I was actually watching this TikTok from this girl and she was going through her back to school like outfits. And I felt a twinge of jealousy that I can't back to school shop now. Those of you with like kids that are old enough to back to school shop, just tell me about it. Tell me about the thrill of like planning a first day of school outfit. I can't believe the tone that set from like, I mean, obviously like senior year, it mattered. I can actually remember exactly what I wore on the first day of school every single year. And my mom would never let me wear my school clothes. Like we would always do like a big back to school girls trip shopping. We always had a horrible fight in the Gap. Like the way my mom and I could fight in a mall, unmatched. We actually laugh about it all the time now because I told you we took my nieces shopping a few weeks ago and they were they were so sweet. Like I would hold up some clothes that I thought were cute and my nieces would be like, "Yeah, I can see how you would like that. Like I can see how you would think that's cute." Like they genuinely were being nice. And I'm like, "Listen, you guys, you can't hurt my feelings." You want to know why? Because my mom and I have been through the ringer in a PacSun before. We have fought so bad. And like, it's just, you don't know why, but when you're like 13 and 14, your mom is your number one op. And I can't even explain it. Like, I just feel like I would walk into a store and she was mad at me. And she has now told me that she felt the same way. Like the minute we walked into a store, I feel like a lot of mine came from hating my body. Truthfully, like I hated back to school shopping because I hated that I was like I mean, you guys know this, I've been this size since I was 12. So I was a size 12 at age 12. And I hated that like I couldn't just shop in the normal stores. And I felt like this angst about it and this anger and I didn't know how to express it. And it always came out at my mom. And like she would show me clothes and I'd be like, "Those are fat girl clothes. Those are not skinny girl clothes." And she'd be like, "These are the only thing that fits you." I'm like, "I know." And I have to shop in like the women's and like everybody else was shopping in the kids. And it was just, it was not, it was a complicated feeling that I couldn't understand. And then finally, when I was like 15, 16, 17, I was a little bit more secure, I think. Now we knock it out of the park. I mean, if you put me and Nancy in a mall together, we're going to FSU and it's going to be fun. We're going to go to the Cheesecake Factory after. Don't know why that factory had an accent on it. We're going to go to the Cheesecake Factory. We're going to split some brown bread and a miso salmon. We're going to laugh our faces off the entire time. What I would give to go back and have those designated days to shop with my mom. I would eat that up now. And now I appreciate it a lot more. But if you are going through that with your kids, I would love to hear about it. Maybe we should do a back to school episode. We've done a teacher episode. And I also got a lot of feedback about a nanny episode that you guys want to do a nanny episode. I even had a handful of submissions from people talking about it or asking about it. And I just got to say, like, I got most people asking, like, how do I find a nanny? Like, what questions do you ask them? How do you vet them? I mean, definitely, like, you definitely got to vet them. I mean, if you use like care.com, they require background checks and I usually ask for references and I always go to like their Instagram. Like I of course want to know what they're like in their personal life. Like are they married? Are they single? Are they have a dog? They've got kids, whatever. So I definitely look into them like on a personal level. And then I mean, quite honestly, there's just a vibe. There's just a vibe of like person that even when I like, when they message me and I look at their profile or see their resume, like I can tell if it's kind of the type of person that I would get along with, mainly by like how they phrase things or what their hobbies are or how old they are, things like that. Like you kind of just catch a vibe and you just have to be so picky with a nanny. Like if I get even one strange feeling, one thing that feels a little bit off, it's completely off the table for me. It is not even a question. Like I usually won't even interview them, but yeah, I'll have them come to my house and do like an interview and meet Coco and see how it goes. And then usually for like the first 2 or 3 shifts, I am home. Like I mean, I work from home anyway. So it's not that strange that like I would be here during that, but I just am here and I'm around and I make sure that it's all good. I'm not leaving the house yet. Like it's not a slow process, but it's definitely a process. And I just think that like I found a nanny from care.com and also from like my local Facebook group of like nannies and people looking for jobs. So you just kind of got to feel it out, call their references, see what their experience is. Ask them every single question in the book. Like when I interview, I actually have an interview coming up with a new nanny and I have a list of questions. And as I've had a nanny for longer, I kind of understand more what to ask them. If they're okay with certain things, with like a little bit of housekeeping, with doing bath time, if they're okay doing nights, like if we are going to do a date night, like can they do the whole nighttime routine and stuff like that. So just getting into the nitty gritty. So that's my advice with finding a nanny, but just like be very, very, very picky. And yeah, where was I going? Oh, with a nanny episode or a teacher episode. The teacher episodes always fill me with intense rage. Because I just think that teachers should be paid less. Like I don't understand why we are letting teachers live in the lap of luxury. Like they can definitely be making less. Oh, that's a joke. Obviously, I think teachers are truly the most underpaid profession. Let me think if there's anything that's more underpaid than a teacher. Like the amount of, well, first of all, education that teachers have to go through. That's enough right there. I mean, they have a whole degree. A lot of times they have masters. I know a lot of times they don't, but still, even getting a full degree. And then the fact that they are caring for our children. It goes back to what I was saying about having a nanny that like I will praise this person who is helping me with my child. Like to be part of my village, like that means everything to me. Like I'm so grateful for every minute that somebody has put time and effort into my child. And the fact that teachers put all of their time and effort, a lot of times their own money. Why why aren't people clearing off of, or why are like billionaires, have we talked about this? Why are billionaires not clearing teachers' wish lists? Like that should be, if you can prove that it's a real teacher and it's for a real classroom, like obviously I know that there's like stuff involved. People are going to make fake wish lists. Okay. Then call the school that they work at. Like I hate when people act like that should stop them from like supplying teachers with what they need. Like it's ridiculous how we treat our teachers and what we pay them. And I saw a good video the other day that somebody said, people will tell you that like, oh, teaching is a calling. Like it's a calling. It's a calling for you. And that's how they take advantage of you. And that's how they pay you less. And because you should love it. It's your life's calling. You're doing such important work. Why would you're so selfish for wanting to be paid more. Like you're doing so much for children. Don't you just feel like gratified in what you're doing? I'm sure that there's a lot of satisfaction in being a teacher. I'm sure there's also a lot. And then, you know what? Don't even get me started on people who are like, well, they have summers off. Okay. Well, what can they do during the summer? You paid them $5 the last 9 months. What would you like them to do with that? Just, I don't know, take a trip to the Chevron down the street and get a donut. Is it donut or donut? The little donuts. You guys know the ones that I'm talking about. Specifically, the crunch ones are so good. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to be hoity toity. It's just not my gas station treat of choice, like a ding dong or a Twinkie or like anything Hostess or Little Debbie. I don't usually go for. I would go for a Cosmic Brownie or a Crunch Donut though. It feels like it should be donut, but it's spelled, this is not important. But while we're on the topic, my other gas station favorites, Nerds Clusters really, hit the market hard. Not a lot of new candies I feel like have really like become mainstream. Nerds Clusters have done a fabulous job. I love them. I think they're one of the best candies. I just want to the way I need to be chewing on a Nerds Cluster at all times. I love the texture. I've always been a Nerds Noodle or a Nerds Noodle. What are those Nerds Rope apologist? The Nerds Cluster was really great. You know what else hasn't caught on for a lot of people? Any special edition cereal. I grew up in a special edition home. Like we always got the like Halloween themed, cereals or granola bars or whatever. We used to see the commercials for like the Christmas Tricks or the new Go-Gurts or the new, fruit snacks, whatever, popsicles. We always got those. And I don't feel like they've caught on quite as much as they did in the 90s. Am I wrong about that? Are people buying it? Now it feels like a cry for help. Like if you are buying like the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Captain Crunch sprinkles crossover with, I don't even know, whatever brand, I feel like it's a cry for help. Like most people I know are not buying that. Maybe that's because I'm old and lame, which if that's the reason, don't say anything. But I digress. Heavily, heavily, heavily digress. Let's get back to teachers. I love you. And I honor the teachers that I had in my life because I really do think they made me who I am. I have close friends that have been teachers, and I just think that they are seriously, I mean, if we can use the term doing the Lord's work, like if that's what you believe in, that's who's doing it. It's the teachers of the world. Keeping like people who teach like 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. I mean, any of those ages, like, the worst ages for a kid to be like people teaching 6th graders who also kind of stink. That's like when they start hitting puberty and they start smelling bad. You are with those kids from, 30 of them. I know that being a mom is hard. I mean, I already cried about it on this episode. Yeah, it's hard. You don't have 30 of them. Like if you have a 12-year-old and you're like, yeah, this is really hard. I get it. But think of having 30 of them bugging you for 8 hours a day. And they stink. And they're like whispering and like trying to make jokes. And they're talking about 6, 7 and huzzes and chuzzes. What am I talking about? Okay. So if we're going to do back to school episode, let me know if you guys want to do that. We'll do that. We'll do a nanny episode. I had a really good submission idea from this girl. I will shout her out in the episode when I do it. But it is a gatekeeping episode. What are you gatekeeping? Share it with the world. You have to tell us what you're gatekeeping. I was thinking about it like, what am I gatekeeping? Literally nothing. Can't shut up. So I haven't gatekept one thing. Let me think. Is there anything that I truly don't want to tell people? I don't really want to tell people about my gym. I actually just switched gyms. I liked my old one too, but this one had better childcare hours. And I kind of don't want to tell people about it. It is like the most influencer-y gym in the world though. But it's nice. It's nice. The people are nice. The childcare is great. And I don't really want to tell people about it. But now I'm like, maybe I'll share it on my gatekeeping episode. I don't think that people are going to like go like sign, I don't know, maybe people like go sign up, but it's quiet there. It's quiet. People are minding their own business. I just think like, I like keeping it where it is. Maybe I'll tell you guys. I don't know. Okay. We have a few submissions from our weekly submission form that we need to get into. Let's begin. She says, I need your advice. I'm recently married, like as of this year, and my marriage is great, but I'm slowly starting to question if it was the right choice. I can't stop thinking about my first love. I feel so guilty because my husband is so amazing, but it's to the point where I cry every day over it and I'm taking it out on my husband. He has no idea about any of this because I don't want it to hurt his feelings. There was never closure with this ex. One day we just stopped talking, and maybe that's the issue. Would it be wrong of me to talk to my husband and tell him how I feel and find a way for me to stop feeling this way about my ex? Do I reach out to this ex and get closure that way? No. Don't reach out. Don't reach out. That's weird. It's weird to reach out. I feel like we actually have another submission about this. Hold on, let me see. Okay, yeah. Okay, we have another submission, so I'm going to get more into this, but don't reach out. Um, I think that in this situation, I think you do talk to your husband. I think that it's probably one of those feelings that feels bigger because it feels secret. And I think that the more you shine a light on it and talk about it, I think that it will probably feel like less of a big deal. There are basically, I'm trying to think of one emotion that I've ever had that doesn't fall into this category. That, like, once I talked about it, it wasn't that big of a deal. But I feel like when you get married, like, I mean, so many thoughts go through your mind when you get married young and you're like, this one maybe being the most prominent. Was this the right choice? Am I too young? Whatever. But I've said this before and I've made this comparison a lot, but it just, like, for me, it really hit the nail on the head when it comes to thinking about exes and why we kind of obsess over them and why they why they incept us and they can't get out of our brain. It's because it feels like an unfinished task. And we have convinced ourselves that, like, it needs to be finished for it to be over. But, like, you have to create that closure for yourself, such as the fact that you got married. That is probably closure enough. That is reason enough to, accept that you have moved on from that person. Also, when it feels like an unfinished task or it feels like something we didn't get to experience fully, we convince ourselves that it was better than it was. Like, oh, but, like, what if my marriage with him? It wasn't. It wouldn't be. You would probably be feeling the same way. Getting married, it's a huge life change. And any sort of life change, our brain freaks out. Doesn't matter if it's positive, doesn't matter if it's a marriage, a promotion, having a baby. It can be the best thing in the world. Your brain will still go haywire thinking about things being different because change is scary. Brains don't like change. Me no like change. There's that line from that Jennifer Lawrence movie where she's like, sometimes I think I'll die before I change. I feel that all the time. I'm like, change is way too scary. And then you do it, you talk about it. It's not that big of a deal. A couple years pass. You think that was a crazy thing I thought. That was crazy that I thought I would never change. And now I'm a completely different person. But I think it's fair to talk about talk about it with your husband, maybe not in these words, maybe not saying like, hey, I'm not over my ex, but saying like, hey, I'm just like, I'm having some complex feelings about getting married and, that part of my life being over. And what do you think about that? He might be feeling those same things. He might be feeling the change. So maybe it's good to bring it up. I'm team bring it up. I'm team have the conversation. Okay, next one. Flip side of these things. I'm struggling with being single. I actually don't mind being single. I love my alone time. I have a fun enough time hanging out with myself and my girlfriends, and I don't want to add someone into my life if they are not going to add happiness. Don't get me wrong, I would love to add someone into the mix eventually, but I've spent a lot of time building my own confidence that it's not worth it to me to add someone for the sake of having someone. Except for, am I lying to myself? My problem with being single lies in the fact that nearly all of my friends are in relationships. They range from years married to situationship stages. My friend group talks a lot about dating and relationships and boys in general. I feel so sad some nights that I don't have someone to come home to. I wish I had someone who loved me that way, and I'm feeling increasingly lonely and even starting to feel jealous. Last time I told someone this, they told me to take the problem into my own hands and start dating. So I really put in some effort, and I felt like crap going repeatedly on first dates who didn't seem very interested. Feeling lonely, looking for some words of wisdom or love or comfort, or even for you to tell me I'm stupid. I don't think this is stupid at all. I think that this is like, it's the most valid feeling in the world. Like, of course, that's coming to mind that, like, when you're going home, you would like a partner, you would like somebody to text or chat with or be with or whatever. I think that is like so normal. However, let me tell you from experience that adding somebody and committing to somebody just because you feel lonely, you think you won't find somebody, it is much, much, much lonelier. And like, maybe, I don't know, I'm like trying to decide if that's actually helpful to hear it from somebody who's married, like to say like, well, it's better to be single than to be unhappily married. But that's the truth of it. I mean, when I was married before and unhappily married, I mean, the loneliness is debilitating. I mean, I know that like you're talking about your loneliness and it's hard and your friends are going through all of these things, but I'm assuming, I mean, with what you're writing to me and the demographic that I speak to on this podcast, I can only assume that you're young. I'm not really talking to a lot of like 60 and 70-year-olds. I mean, maybe there's a handful of you guys out there, but I feel like most of my demographic is from 25 to like 40. So I'm assuming that you're in that range, which means you're young, which means there are lots of years ahead, which means this time that you're spending, especially doing the things that you're talking about, spending time with yourself, building your own confidence, finding your own hobbies, building your friendships, like that stuff is so much more important than you even think. You're not passing the time. You're not just getting by. You're not just doing things for the hell of it. You are building an incredibly successful life for yourself when you are nailing these things down. A relationship with yourself is probably the most important thing you will ever have. And like it will make you down the line a better partner, better mom, when that comes. But the fact that you are getting all of these years or however long, I again don't know how old you are, but the fact that you're getting all of these years, I think that I personally never talked to anybody who has ever said, I had enough years single. I had enough years learning about myself. I had enough. The majority of people I know will say, I wish I had a few more years to do that. I wish I had more time with myself. I wish I knew myself better. I wish I had developed this, that, and the other better. And the fact that you're in that, I know it's probably so hard because you're, grass is greener, whatever. Water it. Okay. Grass is greener where you water it. And how's that for a cliche? How's that for a Pinterest quote? The grass is green where you water it. But seriously, like you are building the foundation. You're not just getting by. So keep that in mind. And yeah, first dates, they suck. They suck so bad. And honestly, like you may meet somebody tomorrow. You might meet somebody next week. You might meet somebody at a random birthday party one day. I don't know. Maybe you're not going to meet anybody on an app. Maybe you're going to meet somebody at the grocery store. Maybe it's a friend of a friend. Maybe you're going to go to a friend's wedding and there's going to be a hot brother-in-law there that you develop a crush on. What's better than that? I was actually downtown Salt Lake today. Small shout out to the City Creek Food Court Play Place. It's like Real Salt Lake themed, which is our soccer team. It's our soccer team themed. And it's just a bunch of padded giant fixtures. Like there's like a big pair of shoes it's like soccer cleats, but it's like foam. And then they have like a whistle and they have a big soccer ball. They have a trophy. And my kid went wild on it. I mean, sprint back and forth and back and forth. You can get Chick-fil-A. I actually got Shake Shack today, and you can sit up at like the bar stool and overlook the play place and watch your kids. It is so underrated, especially in these okay, this is for real something that I was going to gatekeep, but I can't gatekeep it any longer because it's too hot to go outside. Like, and I'm honestly sick of the pool and sick of the splash pad, and it's too hot to do anything else. And most indoor play places are riddled with hand, foot, and mouth. So shout out to that play place. Make sure you go. See you there. But then I was walking back to my car, and the thing about downtown Salt Lake, it's like where all like weddings happen. I assume a wedding was happening. I don't know. It was a lot of people dressed up very nice. And like, what was better than when one of your friends got married and you got to like spend the whole day in downtown Salt Lake and you got to like go. I mean, for me, my whole life, it was like going and waiting outside the temple and judging everybody else who was outside. And then you got to go to the luncheon, and then you had like a few hours to kill before you had to go to the reception. And like, I had one friend's wedding where I had a crush on one of the groomsmen. And so it was like this fun little like day date where we got to, oh my gosh, I'm giddy thinking about it. You know what? I need a new group of friends. I need them to all be single so I can go to more weddings. It's crazy. Like the majority of my close friends I met in my late 20s. And so we weren't at each other's weddings. And then I didn't invite anybody to mine. So I guess I'm the bad friend here. But the fact that I like wasn't at any of my friends' weddings, it feels wrong. Like that's not how it should be. So I'm going to need to make some young friends that can invite me to their wedding. Okay. That was totally not necessary, but that's my thoughts on you being single. Okay. You are building a gorgeous foundation for a beautiful, full life. And you know what? I don't want to say partners don't matter, but partners don't make or break a life. All right. That's all I need to say. Okay. Next one. Okay. We need some help with book club etiquette. I love book club etiquette. I love like suburbia culture, like, I don't know, bunko. I've never been invited to bunko, by the way, just if anybody cares. Never been invited to bunko. I'm not in a book club. Never been invited to a craft night. I've never been invited to Lake Powell. Never been invited on a boat. Okay, I'm just putting that out there, you know. Anyway, we need some help with book club etiquette. Over the last 2 years, our book club has grown very close after forming from loose connections where no one knew more than 1 to 2 people. We have a specific number of people so we can each host once a year. It's been so lovely and I love every one of them with my whole heart. However, one of the women simply never comes unless it's her turn to host. She'll participate in the group chat, poll that she'll be attending, and then always cancels last minute. Excuse me. It's become a bit of a joke because she always seems to be falling sick with something last minute. We simply don't expect her anymore. Apparently, she has a lot of social anxiety, which we all want to be understanding of. But unfortunately, what's happened is now the rest of us know each other quite well. And it feels like that's even more of a barrier to her attending because I'm guessing she feels like a bit of an outsider. Unclear. The reality is that we have several other friends that would really like to join the group, but with a set number of slots, there's not room. With her mental health struggles and social anxiety, we've hesitated to say anything. But what's the move here? Do we just continue on with her officially in the group, but seeing her only once a year in order to avoid any hurt feelings? Or let's see, in order to avoid any hurt feelings and asking her to step aside, or do we broach the topic delicately and ask if she'd be willing to step aside to make room for others who felt like they could commit to full attendance? I know this sounds like we are way too serious about book club, but it's tons of fun. And unfortunately, yes, we do actually read the books and talk about them and get together on a consistent schedule. I hear you, and you should take this seriously. Okay, like as I've entered my 30s, book club, gardening, childcare, like there are a few things that I'm like, no, you take this shit seriously. Like if you're not gonna like be here 10 toes down, then don't show up. So here's what I would do. I feel like there's 100% a way to gently approach this with this gal. Just saying like, hey, we love you. Like we love that you're a part of this. Like you're so welcome. But like we know, or we've noticed, I guess, that it's been hard with like scheduling and stuff. Are you okay if no, let's see. I wouldn't say that. Are you okay if we replace you? I would give her an out. I would give her an out and kind of make it seem like it's her idea. Be manipulative is what I'm telling you. No, but kind of say like, hey, if this isn't something that you want to do, like we are totally fine. Like no hard feelings at all. We would like love to keep you in the group chat or something like that. I don't know. Maybe like give her a way to stay involved where it's not like fully participating in the group, like in the actual physical hangouts. And maybe if you bring that up, it will kind of, give her a little shock to the system that like she needs to start participating in the book club. I want to be in a book club. I'm jealous. As I'm reading this, I'm like, I used to read. Remember that month? Let's see. It was like March. I read like 3 books. That was crazy. Anyway, I feel like kind of putting it in her hands, like, hey, and really making it clear that there are no hard feelings. Like, hey, we want to make sure like for next year, like we're all on the same page. Cause like we want to make sure everybody's coming and there's people who want to join. If you can't do it, like seriously, no big deal. You can come pop in whenever you want or something like that. Maybe that goes against the rules, but leaving that door open so she doesn't feel totally blindsided and totally cut out. But yeah, like participate. You know what? Like speaking of participation, you know what pisses me off? When you do something like this and then people don't participate. Like when you have a themed party and people like don't put their whole what into it. Like I'm on the fence of if I'm going to do a themed birthday this year. Definitely have some themes going for the Halloween episodes of the podcast. But I'm like, when I do a themed party, like don't last minute throw on a t-shirt that says this is my costume. Like, come on. Like we have something in the works, just so you know, I'll be announcing it very soon, where there's like a theme and, not costumes, but like, a vibe. And I want to invite people. That sounded so whiny, but you know what I mean? I want people to come who are going to embrace the vibe. So when I announce that, you'll know when you know, I need you to be participating in the vibe. Okay. All right. Let's talk about this oh no, we've got 2 more. Wait, hold on. Okay, we've got 2 more. Do we have time for 2 more? We have time for 2 more. Okay, this literally just happened to me, and your podcast has been my saving grace to help me work through the millions of emotions I've been feeling. But this story is just so shareable that I figured why not share? About 3 months ago, I started dating this guy. He told me super early on that he got divorced a year ago. Wait, hold on. I'm looking through because I thought I had this other one. Okay, here it is. I will read that other one too, but this was one that I wanted to touch on. She says, I need some serious advice and I can't go to anyone I know because they think I was nuts. I had a boyfriend for 4 years during high school and some college. Our relationship was pretty rough, cheating on both ends, fighting, all around toxic behavior, but we also loved each other a lot and we had great times. We were just too young, dumb, and selfish to make it work. After we broke up, I got my life together and met my now husband, who I've been happily married to for over a decade. Mine and my ex's, our lives are still intertwined with enough mutual friends that I see him from time to time. Recently, I saw him at an event, and out of nowhere, I was overwhelmed with guilt because of the way I acted when we were together. Now that I'm older, I'm seeing clearly the way I treated him, and even though it was a million years ago and we're both married with kids, I feel like an apology would be healing for both of us because we didn't end on great terms. But then I don't want to open a can of worms and make things weird or cross a boundary. I don't think my husband would be thrilled if I went out of my way to talk to him. I even wrote my apology down and threw it away, hoping it would get it off my chest. But I seriously cannot stop thinking about it. Help. If there's anyone who can give it to me straight, I know it's you. Love you. Let me just say, totally get it. Totally wouldn't do it. I would not do this. I mean, it goes back to like the first submission that we talked about. I don't think it's appropriate to reach out to an ex ever. I mean, like maybe there are like some insane circumstances, or like if you have a child together or something, like, yeah, maybe there are conversations that you should be having with your ex, but I feel like there's not an appropriate time to be doing this. And I feel like it's just these like weird human emotions like popping up out of nowhere. My hand looks insane right now. This is the downside of filming myself when I record, is that when I have weird reactions, I'm like, why does my hand look like that? But like, I just don't think it's ever appropriate. And I feel like you got to just keep on writing letters addressed to the fire, babe. Like you just have to kind of give yourself closure, because he also has another partner that you owe it to them to not act like that. I have been apologized to, and I thought it was weird. And I thought it was kind of over a boundary. And I feel like, I mean, this was years and years and years ago, but I felt like it was over a boundary, and like it kind of changed my perspective on it. Don't get me wrong. It was satisfying. Okay. Like the fact that like I got an apology, like probably 8 years after it happened, like I felt satisfied. Of course. Like, I mean, what girl wouldn't love to just like be correct? Like I just like drove away. I was like, I was right. I was right about the whole thing. And I got an apology and it was fine. But then I don't know. I just kind of sat with it for a while and I was like, that was not appropriate. I don't think that that was appropriate to get that. And so now my feelings on it have changed. Like, yeah, maybe it would be nice. Of course, everybody loves to hear an apology or hear that, you know, when they were treated badly, the other person regrets it. Sure. But like you're married, you've got kids, it's been a decade. Like let time be the closure. Okay. Let's go on to this next one. Okay, this literally just happened to me, and we're back to the one that I was reading a second ago. About 3 months ago, I started dating this guy. He told me super early on that he got divorced a year ago. She left him, told me the general reasons why. He also told me that they were super involved in drinking and everything while they were together, but he sobered up and he was working on himself, blah, blah, blah. So here I am thinking I found this guy who's been through hell and back, who's worked on himself, who's so honest with me, who I can trust completely because of our communication. You get the picture. Our relationship was solid. We were together all the time, very open and vulnerable with each other. He treated me better than any guy I've ever dated. And I thought, wow, this is it. Well, fast forward to last week. He was at my house watching my puppy while I was at work, and the plan was to hang out for a second when I got home before he left for work. We had been texting all morning. Everything was fine. No big deal. When I get in my car and go home and check his location, and he's golfing. So I'm annoyed and I text him, but he doesn't respond. Then his location turns off. I drive home and I walk into my room and see that he cleaned my room, sprayed my weighted stuffed animal with his cologne. What the? So his smell is everywhere, and there's a note on my bed. Basically, he wrote me a long letter saying he lied to me about everything. His marriage ended because he cheated on his wife twice. He lied to me about a ton of stuff. A ton of stuff with just literally everything in his life. And he laid it all out in the letter and told me that I'm so great, I'm amazing, whatever, but he had to get his life together. So I'm shattered. I'm calling him, texting him, not a word. For days, Let's see, for days. End of the week, still hadn't heard a thing. So I call his brother to see what he can tell me. His brother then spills all sorts of tea, assuming that I knew everything. Nope. There was even more that he had been keeping from me and he was lying to me about, including the fact that his ex-wife hit him up a month ago and they've been chatting and he's confused about his feelings for her and for me for weeks. So he's been emotionally cheating on me. Yay. Suffice to say, I am not in a great headspace at the moment. Sorry, this is so long. Feel free to summarize however you want. But yeah, girly pop is unwell. I could use some advice or some hype on how to move forward and, learn how to trust again. I mean, it's bad. That's bad. I'm glad that he did that to you and for you. It's weirdly of like a favor to you. I mean, it's somebody else's mess to deal with now. The fact that he cut you off, I think it will be one of those things. Like, it's going to be a hard one to get over because of the abruptness of it. Wow, we're talking a lot about relationships today. That's good. But I meant that seriously. That sounded sarcastic when I said that, but I do love when we talk about relationships. But it'll be hard to get over because of how sudden and because there's no closure, because it didn't fizzle out and because it's an explosion and not just like the dying of the light. So it's going to suck for a while. This is such a favor to you, girl. I swear on everything. The fact that he did this and he cut you off so abruptly and you can't go back. Like, that's, I think, the hardest type of relationship to end is when the door is open. Like when it's like an are we, aren't we, can we, can't we, like those ones are so much harder to get over than the ones who are like, this is a firm cutoff. Don't come back. Don't call. Don't text. We can never work this out. Like, I think that this is such a blessing. And I know that that's probably not what you want to hear, but I promise you, like, please just look me in the eye. Okay. Please watch on YouTube because I'm looking you in the eye. Wait, is that technically, do I have to look there to be technically in the eye? Look me in the eye. Don't go back. When he calls, when he texts, when his life gets bad and he knows that you're there, don't call him back. Don't text him back. That will set a precedent for what you allow in your relationship. Don't call him. Okay. And then when you want to text him, DM me or leave me a voicemail. I will be the sounding board for you. Okay. Please don't go back. Please, 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 please. I've seen this a million times and then they go back. Please don't. Okay. Just hear me out. Okay. Don't go back. All right. My nose has been running this entire episode. I'm so sorry. Okay. Let's end on that. Oh, that's perfect timing. We'll wrap it up here. I've been dating my boyfriend for almost 2 years. We've been sexually active since the beginning. Okay, a little medical for me. But he just recently told me he would like to become abstinent for spiritual reasons. He's the love of my life, but this isn't realistic for me. I've told him how I feel, but it's difficult because it's not my place to keep him from his spiritual beliefs. I'd love your thoughts. There are like a few major things that you got to be aligned on in a relationship. I think money is up there. Religion, politics, those are big for me personally. Maybe other people can make it work with the other side. That's not my thing. Religion, politics, sex. Sex is like a big thing that you kind of need to be aligned on. At least for me, in my experience, it's something that you need to be on the same page about. I mean, teach your kids, teach yourself, practice sexual activity however you want. I just think that it is a good and healthy and normal part of a relationship to have before marriage. Again, sorry, I have something in my mouth. Again, I was not raised like that. I waited till marriage and like, am I fine? Yeah. For the most part, actually, maybe not really. Like, my beliefs have changed. I won't be like raising my kids like that. I'll probably have different conversations surrounding it. I think that it's probably a healthier thing to have, more open, honest talks around sexuality before marriage. Okay. That's just my opinion. And I think that if you are grossly misaligned on it, I don't know if it will work. And I think that a lot of times women take the back seat to like the sexual experience in a relationship and they don't feel like they can say like, hey, that doesn't work for me. Hey, that doesn't meet my needs. Like, we think that, I don't know, at least this is how I feel when I talk about it. Like, I think I'm like gross or weird or like too dirty if I like actually say what I want or say what I need. Like, even still, sometimes I'm like, wait, should I not say that? Like, is that like so bad of me to want that? But it's not. And like, that's just messaging that we've gotten our whole lives that like men are more sexual, women don't have those needs as much. That's not true. And if it doesn't meet your needs, it doesn't meet your needs, period. It's just as important as your emotional needs, your physical needs. Like, of course you can say, hey, that does not work for me. And if it's a deal breaker, it's a deal breaker, but you have every right to say, that's not the type of relationship that I need. And if he can't get there, literally, then maybe it's time to either, maybe it's take a break. Maybe it's, work on yourselves. I don't know how old you guys are. In my mind, like everybody who submits is 18. And I'm like talking to people who like need life advice. Chances are a lot of you guys are older and smarter than me, but that's my take on it. Okay, we're going to wrap up there. Slams laptop shut till Monday. Dang it, I messed up the line. Okay, take 2. Slams laptop shut till Monday. I hate that meme. Have you guys seen that? It's the worst one. Anyway, I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here for all of my emotions. I love what I do. And you know what? Sometimes that makes life complicated. But I love it so much and I want to do a good job and I want to be here with you guys. So I'll see you next week. Thank you to subscribe. Remember to subscribe, rate, review. I was about to say thank you for all the incredible reviews. I can't believe like the nicest reviews I've ever gotten. You guys have just inundated me with them and they make me weep tears of happiness. So I love y'all so much. I will see you next week for another episode of The Bad Broadcast. Remember to be safe, be kind, be hot, and let's all say it together, be normal. Okay, love you. Bye.